We had losers in Lambeau, a beatdown in Buffalo, and a dumpster fire in Duval. We'll talk about all that and more as I go over my power rankings. Of course, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Real quick, go over my power rankings. I break this up into tiers, starting from the bottom. We got bottom of the league, bottom of the barrel, essentially the worst teams in the league. Right above that, I have could be but unlikely, teams that are probably just bad, but they could play spoiler down the stretch. Then I have the NFC South. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then I have playoff contenders, teams I think are vying for the playoffs, not necessarily shoo-ins to get in, but they will be contenders down the stretch. Of that, I have teams that I'm almost 100% confident will be in the postseason. They will be a playoff team. And then Super Bowl contenders was my top tier, but I feel like I had to add this Super Bowl favorites, and we'll talk about that at the end. Let's go ahead and get this sucker started with, of course, as business as usual, it's the Carolina Panthers. First off, congratulations. They got a victory for all 8 fans in attendance. It wasn't pretty. Bryce Young was the cleaner quarterback on the day compared to who they were facing. Nice. They got their second win of the year. Happy for them. The New England Patriots coming in here at 31 for me. I mean, dude, it was kind of interesting. They were back and forth with the Chiefs early, and I felt like a lot of that was just kind of self-induced by the Chiefs. Ultimately, the better team won out, and I mean, I think Patriots are picking a quarterback at the beginning of next year, so we shall see. Arizona Cardinals, another team that looked like they were about to come out and compete with the Niners, pick 6 later and didn't feel that way. I mean, they hung tough, but again, ultimately the better team just ended up pulling away, which, I mean, they were facing the Niners. It was bound to happen, but I think Kyler Murray scored his first passing touchdown of the year. Could be wrong about that, but I thought I heard that somewhere, and I was like, that's kind of a wild stat. Kind of wild. The Washington Commanders. Oh, Sam Howell getting benched in this game for Jacoby Brissett, who then comes out and throws 2 touchdowns. Not a great look. Really wasn't. It's not like Sam Howell was pressured immensely. I think he was only sacked once in this game. It was just a bad Sam Howell performance. And I imagine they're going to ride Sam Howell out for the remainder of the year because they want to know, is he worth moving forward with after this season? And you'd be like, well, okay. I mean, if he plays bad, that's just going to put you in a better draft scenario to maybe not necessarily be getting quarterback 3, but maybe you'll be in the run-in for guys like Caleb Williams and Drake May. So that's how I see that. Chargers, dude, I don't think we need to talk much about the Chargers. This was Easton Stick. The defense allowed 63 points. I'm just happy the bad man's gone. The bad man is gone. Brandon Staley no longer can hurt you. Matter of fact, you got the GM out of there. I think that's great. Clean house. Just clean house. But those are my bottom of the league teams. Let's go ahead and move on to this could be but unlikely tier. And I'm going to start it off. I'm going to start off with both New York teams. So I got the Jets, and I'm actually going to put the Giants ahead of the Jets. Both these teams lost this week. I do think far and away the Jets have the better defense, but I think at least the Giants feel like they have something going for them offensively with Tommy DeVito. Granted, they kind of got smoked against the Saints. The Saints were the defense didn't play well for the Giants, to be fair. Couldn't really get pressure because Derek Carr was getting the ball out of his hands so quickly, but also another bad offensive line performance by the Giants. But dare I say, the Jets may have had a worse one because it led to a strip sack of Zach Wilson. It led to Zach Wilson getting concussed. Like, it was a really, really bad performance by the Jets. More so the Jets than the Giants. So I got to put the Giants ahead of the Jets this week. I just have to. Tennessee Titans losing to Case Keenum in overtime. Tell me what it felt like. The Titans had this game for almost like 95% of it. Wild. The run game obviously couldn't get going. The offensive line continues to be a problem. You had Will Levis, fortunately, goes down to injury, but fortunately it ends up being, I think I heard it was an ankle sprain. So, especially with all the injuries we've had this year, we'll talk about one or two in this video that just been like horrible, like season-ending, guy out for like 6 to 7 months. So it was good to see like Will Levis not be hurt there. Tyre Tart actually getting released this week by the Titans, ends up getting signed by the Texans. Was very interesting. So regardless, Tennessee, they end up losing here. And yeah, man, as a Dolphins fan, it hurts. It hurts. Right above the Titans, I'm going to put, honestly, might be game of the week. And to be fair, the offenses for both these teams weren't great. The Browns offense was pretty blah until the fourth quarter. And the Bears, they got a pick 6 from Tremaine Edmonds in this game. And the offense didn't do much of anything for the Bears. You had a lot of drop passes. Not to say Justin Fields was perfect on the day. He certainly wasn't. But he wasn't being aided by his receivers. I mean, and you could go look and be like, oh, he had 2 picks. But it's like they came on Hail Marys with one at the end of the game that should have been caught by Darnell Mooney. Like, as he's going down, pops out of his hands. He kicks it up, intercepted. Freaking insult to injury. But what about that Bears defense? Really, outside until like the fourth quarter, where Flacco just started throwing dots. The Bears defense played one heck of a game. Right ahead, the Bears, I'm going to have the Atlanta Falcons, man. Ugh. You just lost to the worst team in football. I think, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London combined had 13 touches for 74 yards in this game. How are you not getting your best playmakers involved? Desmond Ridder throws a very horrible red zone pick, which just led to the Panthers being able to drive down the field, kick the game-winning field goal. Ridder, he's benched again. It's going to be Taylor Heineke this upcoming week. Falcons, their record is much better than the team they actually are right now. I mean, a lot of that, you got to imagine Arthur Smith got to be on the hot seat, right? I don't know. We'll see. Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think they're not going to the playoffs, but golly gee, man, putting up 63, winning in style, giving people hope in Aiden O'Connell. I like it, man. I like this Antonio Pierce-led Raiders team. They are #fun to watch. And then the final team I'm going to have in this tier is going to be the Green Bay Packers, which all but almost cemented them not making the playoffs. I don't think they're officially eliminated, but they got destroyed in Lambeau. Joe Barry got destroyed in Lambeau. The Buccaneers, man, the Packers defense could not stop the Bucs from scoring. The highlight of this defense was 5 sacks. Because outside of that, Baker Mayfield was having the best game of his life. Joe Barry, fire that man. Come on. Like Jordan Love, just trying to keep up with this team. Like the offense I thought was fine. But then, I mean, you're caught playing, like having to keep up with this type of offensive performance from the Bucs. And of course, yeah, you're gonna have to start making some maybe less than ideal throws and taking some risks. And I feel like that's what happened to the Packers offense. They lost because the defense sucked. Terrible. NFC South, we're going to that tier. Let's go ahead. We got the Saints, we got the Bucs. I think Bucs are in the driver's seat. Obviously, they had the more impressive victory this week. As Saints, I mean, they just played their game. It was a ton of checkdowns. Like, it wasn't an impressive Derek Carr game. But no, man, the Bucs going into Lambeau and just feasting. I do believe Devin White was a healthy scratch, so might be a benching instance. So yeah, don't know about his future there in Tampa, but Tampa Bay, it looks like they control their fates, man. They control their fates. I think that's going to be your winners coming out of the NFC South. All right, going to this playoff contender tier. I got the Minnesota Vikings starting off. Nick Mullins ain't a great quarterback, or at least isn't a great starting quarterback. They allowed themselves. Basically, Jake Browning came into the fourth quarter, said, "I'm done with this crap." Came back, won the game, and started flexing on the Vikings. You shouldn't have freaking cut me. Golly, rough. But yeah, I know they had Addison injured, but like Ty Chandler was solid. Like I think Brian O'Neill may have missed the game as well, but just the quarterback situation is just a massive problem for the Vikings, and I think it's going to be a big reason they don't make the playoffs, unfortunately. Right ahead of them is another team that currently has a quarterback issue, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett still out. Mitch Trubisky was terrible against Colts. Utterly horrible. Led to his benching. Mason Rudolph took over, but by then it was too little too late. Mason Rudolph will be the starter this week on Christmas, nonetheless. Or at least Christmas Eve. And like, things went well early for the Steelers, right? You had the blocked punt, got them in a short field. They got a touchdown. And after that, it was just, man, the defense got ran on after Zach Moss got hurt. So it was like Tyler Goodson and Trey Sermon running on this squad. George Pickens probably ain't going to be with the squad after next year. Get another Chase Claypool up in here, basically, where it's just zero effort. And it feels like the playoff chance for the Steelers is slipping away. And more importantly, in my opinion, Mike Tomlin not having a losing record ever is slipping away. They got to finish the year 2-1, or I guess 1-1. That'll do it too. Seattle Seahawks are next up here for me. Amazing win, a great feel-good win by Drew Lock. You love the interview right after the game and just how humble and just how happy he was. You saw the interaction between him and Chino and how they got hyped, and it was like, man, yeah, this was the team I wanted to win. I didn't know I wanted a Drew Lock win this bad. Kenneth Walker really opened up the offense in the second half for this squad, and they hung tough, man. They hung tough and basically just let Philadelphia shoot themselves in the foot, as Philadelphia, we'll talk about later, like offensively feels like a nightmare. It really does. But good on you, Drew Lock, keeping the playoff hopes alive for the Seattle Seahawks. And right ahead of the Seahawks, I have the Indianapolis Colts. The Gardner Minshew-led Indianapolis Colts. This defense is playing really good football, even if they can't get consistent pressure on the quarterback. But when they're facing, well, not great offensive lines like they were in this game against the Steelers, then yeah, they're able to get to the quarterback. You had Buckham creating a lot of havoc. I think he had like 7 pressures on the game. So the Colts now tied for the division lead there with the Texans and the Jaguars. Holy moly, that's going to be fun going down the stretch. Right ahead of the Colts, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. Impressive win. Jake Browning is 3-0 the last 3 games, and he is looking good. He's looking like a different quarterback. He's making plays. Jamar Chase going down, probably going to miss some time there with, I know it's a shoulder injury. I don't know if it's like a separated shoulder or whatnot. Is a tough pill to swallow, but don't look now, man. This defense getting healthy for the Bengals. They're going to be a tough, gritty team down the stretch. Ahead of them is the Los Angeles Rams. That's right. We're still in this tier right now. Matthew Stafford playing really good football. And the playmakers, the young playmakers are coming alive. Your Puka Nakuas and your Kyron Williams, even a Davis Allen. You have Kyron, I think I already mentioned Kyron Williams, but Cooper Kupp starting to look like himself again. And even DeMarcus freaking Robinson, he's getting in on the action. That's wild. This defense for the Rams could be hit or miss most weeks. Sometimes it's Aaron Donald against the world, or sometimes it's Aaron Donald and friends, and they show up. So very intriguing team. I think they're probably a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to make much noise in the playoffs, unfortunately. Final team in this tier is the Houston Texans. I didn't think they were going to get it done this week. I didn't. Not with Case Keenum, not against a hot Tennessee Titans team coming off a big victory against my Miami Dolphins. Fins up, man. Fins up. But they did. And Case Keenum threw a pick six at the beginning of this game to Elijah Molden. I think that was more of a receiver QB miscommunication. But regardless, they stayed in this game. Devin Singletary had a great game. And they were able to push it to overtime. Defense played phenomenal, and that was without Will Anderson. And they were able to push it to overtime. You seemingly thought they got the go-ahead touchdown. And eventually they settle. They say they settle, but they get the game-winning field goal in OT. And they are here, and they are alive. Watch out. Texans are back. CJ Stroud, hopefully he gets out of concussion protocol. Now we're going to move to my playoff teams. And I got the Broncos here, not with a lot of confidence. Matter of fact, I think I'm actually going to move the Broncos to the beginning of this playoff contender tier. So we're not going to move to playoff teams just yet. Not a great game for the Broncos against Detroit. Detroit just went off. Nothing went right. They were unable to get pressure. They were unable to stop the run. The offense couldn't really move the football. And yeah, for the Broncos, they're gonna, to win games, they need the defense to step up because their offense is a bit slow going. It could be a little bit monotonous at times. So, hopefully better defensive performances down the line. We have seen this defense play considerably well. You take away this 42-point game against Detroit and that 70-point game against Denver, and it's like, okay, the Broncos defense can be average to above average. They need that. They need that to win. So I'm not going to say they're absolutely a playoff team. We will move to playoff teams. And this one's a little dicey, but I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wasn't a great showing in Duval. It was a lot of bad luck in the first half as you had 2 missed field goals. You had the Trevor Lawrence fumble on a scramble where he utterly just dropped the football. And it wasn't even like he was going to get the first down, so they're going to end up settling for the field goal anyway. So it was terrible. And then you had the drive at the end of the half where they tried to hit a quick out route to Parker Washington inside the 10-yard line rather than spiking the football. Parker Washington can't get out of bounds. He's tackled before that, and the clock runs out. Just a string of terrible luck for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, he still looks, the knees, you could tell, still looks banged up because on the throw-to-throw bases, that accuracy just slips. So, and now he's dealing with a concussion. So now you have all these questions with the Jags. You really do. So it's gonna be interesting down the stretch. I thought the defense played much better in this game, though there were some gaffes here and there. But it's been better than the last 2 weeks. Ahead of the Jags, I have the Joe Flacco-led Cleveland Browns. Oh man, Flacco, yeah, he's gonna make some mistakes. He's gonna make some bad decisions. But man, he still got that upside to where it's like, yo, we could rattle off, pop off points. I still got that arm. Watch out. He had a dot to Amari Cooper that was actually, I think, the go-ahead touchdown in this game. So, I don't know. I'm not going to doubt the Browns, man. I really, really am not. This is a team that is finding ways to win close games. It just feels like every game's a close game now for the Browns. It's nice to see the Detroit Lions back on the right end of pounding as they destroyed the Denver Broncos. The offensive line finally feels fully healthy. Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs continue to have just banger rookie seasons. This was a clean Jared Goff game. It was just everything you want for the Lions. They looked good in this game. Ahead of the Lions, I'm going to have my Miami Dolphins. Fins up, baby. No Tyreek, no problem. And defense played phenomenally against Zach Wilson and company, or Trevor Siemian at some point in company. Jalen Waddle kind of like he stepped up out of that big game. So it was nice to see. Still, I think the Dolphins have to win down the stretch to clinch the first seed. But that does mean we have to beat Baltimore. So that rematch is coming, because that was a heck of a game last year. Okie dokie, right ahead of my Dolphins, I have the Dolphins of the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys. They got cooked. Literally, Josh Allen only had to complete 7 passes in this game. James Cook and really any running back for the Bills were running all over the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys did have kind of a tough break, a couple of tough breaks in this game. You had the really bad roughing the passer. Like, it was just a bad call by the refs on the opening drive that turned what should have been 3 points into a touchdown. Josh Allen, quit your flopping, bro. Just quit your flopping. You had Sam Williams missing the punt block and roughing the punter. That was just terrible. And then you had the Stephon Diggs, the fumble, right? That got called not a fumble. And Dallas, I guess, didn't have enough time, or just didn't decide to challenge that play. So you had some game-changing plays in there, but ultimately, no, Dallas still was the worst team on this day. Like, Dak couldn't get anything done through the air. Offensively, they literally couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop the run. It was a bad performance. Hopefully, come back next week and do better. I got the Philadelphia Eagles right in front of the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, I think you could just say both these teams in the same category. They got their different struggles and whatnot. Dallas has been a hotter team outside of this past weekend. But the Eagles, man, that offense, that play calling, it's bad. The offense is just so stagnant. And defensively, Matt Patricia taking over the play calling duties and it not mattering anything. That secondary, it's hurt, it's banged up, it's inexperienced. Pass rush not getting home like it did last year. But man, just things are not going right for the Eagles, and I can't put them in that Super Bowl contender tier. I still got them pretty high because I think from a talent perspective, they got a ton of it. But man, I don't know. We've seen these NFC teams though go through like 2 or 3 game stretches of where they're just awful though. Right ahead of them, I got the Buffalo Bills to round out this tier. Buffalo, they ran all over them, honestly. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they even needed like some of the breaks they caught against the Cowboys. They were just the better team defensively. They were very aggressive. I was confused. I said this was a must-win for Buffalo. It's in Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins this game. And people were like, nah, Dallas ain't gonna lose. There ain't no way. They're too hot. And I'm like, nah, I disagree, man. I really disagree. I was just shocked by how many people thought Dallas was going to win this game. It really didn't give Buffalo a chance. That kind of blew my mind. But no, Buffalo needed this game, and they need to continue to win. So watch out. Don't look now. Buffalo, they're making their playoff push. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Super Bowl contender tier, where I got 2 teams. I'm going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs. It hasn't been pretty. Offensively, they're kind of, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes is like, hey, I'm playing better now. You're not seeing so many of those underthrown touch passes last few weeks, but his playmakers are letting him down. And now Travis Kelce included dropped a touchdown in this game. You had Rashee Rice having a fumble. Luckily, he was able to get on top of it. And then Kadarius Toney just continuing to be a meme. Should have had the catch, tipped it up, ends up getting picked. I mean, they're lucky their defense is so good, though. They are lucky their defense is so good right now. And I'm not going to discount Mahomes. If they get to the playoffs, which they are. They're one of the better teams in the AFC. They got a shot. Then I have the Baltimore Ravens, a spot ahead of them. The offense still looks like they're still trying to figure things out. There were plenty of times where they got into scoring position and had to settle for field goals against the Jags. And I mean, I don't know. I just want to see them be better finishers. Keaton Mitchell, unfortunately, going down with the season-ending injury, and it sucked because he was reeling off big run after big run after big run in this game. Though I feel confident that Gus Edwards and Justice Hill will, while yes, it won't be the same sort of explosiveness that Mitchell brought, I think they'll be able to do a fine job. Lamar Jackson just continues to be like the toughest guy to play, to game plan for defenses, as he could just continually extend plays and then pick up first downs with his feet. He's just tough in that regard. They do have weapons. We've seen Isaiah Likely start to step up. Zay Flowers is there. It was nice to see Rashad Bateman be utilized a bit in the offense. OBJ is out there looming. So, I think they're the best team in the AFC right now. And that sucks for my Dolphins, of course, but it is what it is. And defensively, they are a very good squad. So, yeah. And then we're going to go to my Super Bowl favorites. And I feel like there's just the Niners are the best team in football. And there's no question. Who is on the level of the Niners right now? And it's nobody. They had their bad little 3-game stretch. And since then, it's been a thing of the past. My biggest critique to the Niners is I think their offensive interior has been not playing that well. And even then, it's better than a lot of other situations for teams in the NFL. Charvarius Ward continues to be like, hey, I'm a top 10 corner in the NFL. Quit undermining that, dude. Ward is a freaking superstar. But all in all, Niners feel like the Super Bowl favorites. Easy. But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Where you had that nice, beautiful football discourse. What do your power rankings look like? Where do you think I got it wrong? Let me know in the comment section. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.